Are we live? Good afternoon. Welcome to a fortnightly 90-minute series called Wellness Matters, brought to you by India Health Link Care in association with HEAL Foundation. I am Shankar Raj, president of the New Delhi-based HEAL Foundation. Last fortnight was the inaugural episode, and today's is the first episode of India Health Link Care, or the Wellness Matters series, which is on bringing workplace wellness strategies ahead. But before we go on to the session, we'll have a brief glimpse of the inaugural show. Welcome back. This is to remind our viewers that we are live on Facebook and YouTube at this time. Today's first session will be on dynamic stretching. We have with us Mr. Shreyas Shah, a certified yoga trainer and a certified personal trainer from American Council on Exercise. He has 8 years of experience in fitness industry. Currently, he is working as a fitness manager at Vasant Kunj Health Club Fitness 7, owned by MS Dhoni. Welcome, Shreyas Shah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for calling me in this platform.
Shreyas, my first question would be, what exactly do you mean by dynamic stretching and what are the benefits?
Dynamic stretching is basically stretches, which is for your muscle. And basically, because of the today's lifestyle, people are sitting prolonged for a longer period of time, in which they can't help it because their job is demanding that prolonged sitting. They are sitting in the front of laptop or in the front of, mobile. So when they sit for a prolonged sitting, their muscle gets stiff, and because of that, they are issuing a lifestyle problem also, and they have a muscle imbalances. So when you do the dynamic stretching, you can make sure that they'll not face a problem such as cervical, lower back problem. They have the stiff hamstring, and because of that, they're facing a lot of issues. So while doing the dynamic stretches, they can cure those things, and they are not going to, trap into those lifestyle problem.
So You said that it is because of prolonged sitting.
Yes,
So
yes.
how often should they do it? So for example, a typical office goer, when he sits on his desk, how often should he go in for dynamic stretching? Should he do it in the office or should he do it before going to the office?
Yeah, for sure. He can do it in the office, or you start with you can say, if he's a prolonged sitting for 8 hours, he can do it after 2 hours, and make sure what he can do. He can either go, frequency. They can add the frequency. Usko बढ़ा सकते हैं, timing बढ़ा सकते हैं. They can make it 4 times, or what they can do if they are giving 5 minutes, and they can also add the time. They can also do it for 10 minutes. So this is how they can do. There should be a progression.
Will you be able to demonstrate some of the dynamic exercises?
Sure. There are many kind of exercises, but because I know the time is very less, so I'm gonna show you some of the exercises which the people can do. So we'll start with the neck. So what you have to do, you can put your hand on the right side of the neck and push it towards the left side. Okay, do it. You can say 10 repetitions. So you are not supposed to stop. So that is called as a static stretching. So we are doing the dynamic stretching. So there should be a movement. Okay, you can do it, start with the 5 or 10 reps, or same with the different side. Now we are doing toward the right side. Now after doing this, you can also do left to right stretch. So again, it's a dynamic movement, continue movement, left to right and right to left according to your range of motion. Don't try to push it too much. Whatever your range of motion and wherever you feel comfortable, go to that range. After this, you can go to the extension and flexion of your neck. So go downwards and take your neck backwards. Again, same rule. You are not supposed to stop. You have to be in the continuous motion. So now these are the 3 stretches which you can do basically. Now we go towards the chest. There is a pattern. So from the head towards the downside. So now we go with the shoulders basically. So for the shoulder,
Shay, one small doubt. Is this to be done while sitting or while standing?
You can do while sitting also, you can do while standing also. It hardly makes any difference because we are targeting the neck portion. So you can also do while sitting. So now I'm going to tell you about the shoulder stretching. So put your hand like this, as you can see me from the better view. I'll change the view for you guys. So push it, hands forward and backward. So we are targeting the upper traps and shoulder muscles. So there are very less movement, but still you feel the stretching towards your upper traps area. So you can do it again 10 times forward and 10 repetition backward. So it really gives you relief. Now another one is take your hand backside and open up your chest. It also target your shoulders and your pectoral muscle, which we call chest. Again, come in front, don't stop, come back. You have to be in a continue movement. Again, 10 reps. Hand should be backward. Now, there is one more stretch you can do. Take your hands up. Right one, for example. Put it on your scapula. With the help of your left hand, pull it towards your left hand, right one. Leave it. Again, pull it. Leave it. Then pull. Leave. Again, pull. You can do it 10 repetition. Same goes with the left one. Pull it. Then leave. And don't choke yourself while doing many people I've seen, they choke themselves. Make sure proper breathing should be there while doing the stretches. Last, you can do, make your right hand straight, pull it towards your chest, hold and release, again hold and release, hold and release. You can probably feel it over here on your shoulder area. Same goes with the left one. Hold, release, hold it, release. And it depends on person to person, your age. If you have a problem, you can't pull it this much. So it totally depends what is your range of motion. You have to look at your comfortable zone. So now these 4 exercise or stretches goes with the shoulder. Anything you want to ask, sir, or I'm going to demonstrate the back stretches?
No, please continue.
Okay. So now we're going to talk about the back stretch. Many people are having a back problem. This is the main issue. So what you can do, put your hands on the chair, as you can see, and extension, do the extension of your back. So make sure you have to go backward and relax. Again, backward, open up your chest, feel the stretch on your lower back area. Again, go back. You have to repeat this. You have to repeat this 10 times. Like this. Now, there's one more exercise you can do. Just, this is for the stretch. Again, put your hands on your chair and make sure you have to move around. But make sure don't push it too much. Stability, flexibility is something which depend on person to person. So go easy on you for the first starting days. Go slow. Again, move it right to left and left to right. So there's one more stretch. As you can see, take your hands up and go downwards. If you can touch your feet, you can touch your feet and come back. You can do it while sitting, or you can also do it while standing. Breathe in, come back. Breathe out, go down. So make sure you don't have any issues in your lower back. If someone has a problem already, so make sure you should ask someone that who known about all these biomechanics, so that he can tell you whether this is good or bad. So last exercise for the back is, take your right hand up. It's a lateral flexion. Go toward the left side according to your range of motion. Now go toward the right side. Again, same thing, 10 repetition. According to your wish, you can start with the 5 reps. Relax. So now we have a flex stretching for the hands. So make your hands straight. Make a big circle like this. Because of the prolonged sitting and using the laptop and mobile, we are facing issue in your hands also. Now towards inside. Make it 10 repetitions. 10 times outside and 10 times inside. Now open up your hand. We call it fanning. So like this, open it up. Like this, yes, 10 reps. Open it up and close so that your muscle start working. Now, what you can do, take your hand straight, pull it like this towards you. Now take it down. Like this, you have to be in a, this is dynamic stretches. So continue your movement. So like this, 10 reps, like this, and 10 reps downwards. Same goes with the left. Make sure if you are doing 10 reps on the right side, you are supposed to do 10 reps on the left side too. Now I'm gonna show you the main problematic area, which is legs. So I'll stand, I'll show it to you because it's hard to see me, guys. So imagine you are in the chair. So put your right feet. Put your right feet. I think now I'm visible to you guys. Put the right feet on the left thigh, and imagine I'm sitting on the chair. So go downwards. You can feel the stretch on your right glutes. Come back and go down like this. Don't push it too much. Everybody has a different resistance level. So do 10 reps on the right side, and again change the side. So go downwards, feel the stretch on your left glutes. Go downwards and cut. So this for the glutes area. Now we'll talk about the quads area. So what you have to do, stand over there, put your hand on the chair, pick your right leg, feet, and pull it towards your glutes so you can feel the stretch on your right thigh. Again, leave it and stretch it. Leave it and stretch it. Leave it and stretch it and relax. Now, same goes with the left one. Stretch it and leave it. If you hold it over here, it considered as a static stretching. So we are doing the dynamic stretching. The movement should be there. So this is how we do the stretching for your quads. Now we are targeting the hamstring. Most of the people having a posterior muscle problem because of the hamstring, stiff hamstring, they have a facing problem in their lower back area. So put your feet on the chair, or whether you have any support system. I'm just clearing my blur area.
Yeah, because your video is blurred.
Now you can see. Put your leg on the chair. Take the right hand up and touch it and come back. You're not supposed to stop. Again, go back like this. Do the 10 repetition. If you're facing problem, you can dip your knee a little bit. Don't make it straight if you find it hard to do it. So make sure you can dip your knee a little bit. So for the beginners, it's easy for them to do the 10 reps. Same goes with the left hamstring. Up. Take your hands up. Touch the feet. Feel the flexibility or feel the tension on your left hamstring. So these are some of the exercises, because we have very less time. Your stretching exercises, you can do it while you're sitting at your desk.
Now, Shreya, these exercises should be done on empty stomach, because most of the people who have time would be after lunch. So what is your suggestion? Should it be done before lunch, after lunch, or in the light stomach?
Stretching, you can do it anytime. But when you talk about the strengthening or the exercises like jumping exercise or push-ups, that I think it's better to, after 1 or 2 hours of lunch, post-lunch, you must do those exercises after 2 hours of lunch or breakfast. These two person can do anytime.
That most of the people who are many people who are working in the IT sector, even the IHL survey has brought out, they are quite obese. So what are the precautions that obese people should take while doing these stretching exercises?
That I've told you earlier. First, they start with the less repetition. Okay, because many people face
the bending exercise might be a bit difficult for them.
Yeah. Many people are having issues in the back area. They have a lumbar issue or disc issue. They even don't know. First, if they are facing any problem, they must first consult the doctor. The exercise is not something which is universal. It depends on person to person. If they're facing any problem in their disc, because already their muscle is very weak, posterior muscle is weak because of the prolonged sitting, and they have a big belly over there. So there is a lot of pressure on the vertebrae. So people, many of the people having a myth, if they, you know, they met with an accident, then only they have a disc problem. But these days people don't know if they're obese or they have very weak back, then also they can face these disc bulge problem, or there are many problem, lifestyle problem. So first consult your, I think I must say, your physician or physiotherapist. If you're facing any problem, then you start doing these exercises.
Speaking of all this, I would like to ask a basic question. What is the ideal sitting posture that people should adopt so that they don't get this back pain and other issues?
I'll tell you. First of all, as you can see, people are looking for a very good chair where they can sit very easily and feel very comfortable. That 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 give you a very comfortable posture, that give you a very pleasure thing when you're sitting around for 8 hours, but you are not watching, your back is not working for 8 hours. Your body react something like this, like a mobile. So if there is no work over there in your back, so there will be no blood flow over there, so you are not getting a nutrition, so you are facing an atrophy in your muscle. So your muscle is getting weaker, you are feeling very good while sitting. So make sure after 1 hour, or you can say 45 minutes, you have to sit like this. Your shoulder should be backward retracted, and don't take too much support of your chair. So make sure you have to straight like this, or it's very easy for you to stand for after a point of time like this, stand, and then you can sit, or you can walk, take a walk also. But make sure you're not supposed to sit like this for a prolonged hour.
In some of the exercises that you showed, especially sitting on the chair and bending and trying to touch your knee, and also the shoulder exercises that you said, is breathing an important thing? Should it be done? What is this? It's one about breathing.
As I've told you earlier, as I've mentioned you earlier, I've done the Yoga Alliance certified trainer too. So they always say while doing some of the stretches, what people basically do, they choke themselves. They don't breathe. So you have to make sure while you're doing the stretches like this, so you have to breathe in and out. So there should be a pattern so that your muscle getting a proper oxygen in every movement. So you're not supposed to choke yourself.
So breathing, it should be ideally that you should control your breath, rather not choke yourself, but you should control it.
Control it. Proper pattern, yes. Follow proper pattern. Breathing, so inhale and exhale should be there.
One of the major problems that people find also is that when sitting in front of a computer, you have major eye problem. That is eye problem in the sense the strain on the eye. So is there anything stretching or anything to do to relieve that stress on your eye?
For the stretch of an eye, what I can suggest, there are many glasses coming. I think I've heard many glasses which control the rays, I think UV rays or whatever the thing is. I don't have too much idea about that.
The glasses, what I'm asking is there anything for the facial muscle as such?
Facial. Oh, okay. I think you're talking about the eyes. I'm so sorry. Facial muscle, there are a lot of things in the yoga. So what you can do some of the stretches for a while. You can say like this. It's basically muscle need a contraction and flexibility. These are the two nature of the muscle. So what you can do, you can do some of the things like this. I'm showing one of the thing. So you can open up your face like this. So in the prolonged sitting, your muscle is in the same state. So now what we are doing, we are basically activating or stimulating the face muscle like this. So you have to stimulate the muscle basically. So everybody has a same muscle. So you can also stimulate the face muscle like this. So should be a blood flow over there.
One doubt is, there's a question from one of the viewers. In the over enthusiasm to do the dynamic stretching, can there be any harmful effect, like a sprain or something occurring?
Yeah. Actually, when you have a very sedentary lifestyle, now your range of motion is very less. So I always say to the client, go with the less repetition and watch how your body is reacting to the dynamic stretching. Maybe for somebody it's helpful, and maybe for somebody it's not so helpful. It's giving a damage. So exercise is something which should be in the proper form and under the guidance, and you have to look after that, that you, what is your range of motion? Are you comfortable in that exercise? There is no harm to make a regression of that exercise. Sometimes you have to regression of that do the regression of that exercise. So somebody is going toward this side, you have to watch yourself that you are comfortable to this range of motion. So you can, what you can do, you have to stop it over here. Maybe later you can go downwards. So you have to watch yourself.
And these are all things that you have shown as the individualistic exercises. But in corporate sector, do you rather scenario? Are there stretching exercises where you involve your colleague also? They're in pairs that you do?
Why not? You can do the stretches, buddy stretches also. There are many stretches you can do with the different person, or you can take a help of a different person, or you can promote them that they should also do the stretches.
Are there any stretching exercises where you can take the benefit of the wall?
Okay, wall, why not? Sure, I'll show it to you. So let me adjust the computer. So for example, this is the wall. So what you can do, put your right hand over here, left, and put the right on it, top of it, and open yourself like a book. So you can feel the stretch on your upper traps. And you are also targeting your vertebrae. So this is also dynamic stretches. You can do the 10 reps. So basically you are getting the support from the wall. Same goes with the different side. You can do it 10 reps. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Now one more stretch I'm going to show it to you. For a shoulder, go towards the wall, put your hands like this and open up your arms, go towards the ceiling. You can feel the stretch on your upper traps area. This is the most problematic area which people are facing problem. So make sure your hands are close to the wall. This looks very easy, but when sedentary lifestyle, which the people which are having a sedentary lifestyle, it's very hard for them.
One more question to you is, Shay, is that when you get up early in the morning, there is a general tendency for people to stretch in the sense that, that's even you see in movies that the first wake up call is you open your eyes and second is you stretch and then yawn. So how important are these stretches also part of your dynamic stretching?
I think you can do it, but it also depends. Basically, it's a human behavior when the people stand, because as I told you, because of the prolonged sitting, you are also on the bed for the prolonged. So your muscle need to get relaxed. So it's very human behavior. It's a basic nature. What you do, it's basically you push your hands up, or you can just take your hands backward. So there is no problem in it. You can do it, but don't push yourself too much.
And some of these exercises that you have shown or demonstrated, I presume it must be universal that even people like me can do it, or people in the housewives can do it. I think these are all because they also tend to sit and watch television for a long time. So probably these exercises can be done by them also.
Sure. Any gender, any kind, any age, and there's no restriction in these exercises. But I've told you earlier, there are some do and don'ts. You have to look after that.
Like what? Like when they do it at home?
When they do it at home, so they go with the 5 reps. Okay, their range of motion should be calculated. So if you are new to these exercises, everything you can't get in a one day. So go slowly with the progression. Maybe after some point of time, you can feel your range of motion is more. Your flexibility is getting better.
And in a corporate scenario, how important is it to have a proper trainer for such exercises?
There must be a proper trainer. In Western country, people are promoting health. They are giving a lot of program in a corporate world. They are incorporating the trainers. Well-educated trainers must be there, because people are facing a lot of problem. Because I think when people are working in some company, if their health is good, they're an asset for a company. So if their health is in a proper form, they'll not take a leave. Their work should be better. They can do better for the company. So I think there must be people should hire a trainer for their company. It's really beneficial for the whole staff, for the whole employee.
One last question before I sign out, in the sense that, recently there was a mandate by some of the courts and all saying that there should be even a doctor in a gym. You're working in one of the top end gyms. Is it now mandatory to have doctors in the gym, especially since that Puneet Rajkumar episode?
You can say this. There should not be every time there should be a doctor, but I think there must be some doctor who should be calibrate. Who should be in the pipeline, or you can say who should be there when you call them, or at the time of emergency.
On-call doctors.
On-call doctor. There should be a doctor who to whom you should know that even in the one call, he should be there in the 10 or 15 minutes. There should be a doctor around, I think, say, in the 3-kilometer radius, so that he can come as soon as possible while you need it.
Well, thank you very much. I think it was a wonderful session. And these are some of the exercises that youngsters who are now wedded to the seat should be able to do it, because there's, as you say, they tend to sit long, they tend to couch, and sitting posture is wrong, as a result of which they have this low back pain, neck pain, and all these things. But I'm quite happy that you demonstrated some of the very, very, very simple exercises which can be done in the office scenario. This does not take rocket science to do these exercises.
Sure.
Thank you very much, and we'll see you more in the coming shows. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
We now move on to session 2, which is called Nutrition Counter. We have with us Ms. Pooja Malhotra, who has completed her master's degree in food and nutrition. She has worked at the Owing Institute and Apollo, New Delhi. Besides, she was associated with Dr. Sanjay Kalra as a nutritionist for 3 years. She is currently a senior nutritionist at India Health Link Healthcare Company. Welcome, Ms. Pooja Malhotra.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Now, my first question to you would be, the young generation, especially the IT crowd, work late into the night, get up late, and make a dash to the office. They often skip breakfast or have something on the move. How important is breakfast, and can you suggest some easy to have nutritious choices?
Right, sir. Actually, during this time, everybody is rushing towards their offices for the corporate work and everything. But they don't understand that breakfast is the most important meal of the day for us. Because when I think everybody knows that when we were young, our mother will never allow us to go to school or college without having breakfast. Because breakfast is that food that gives you energy for your food, your mind, and your body also. So without any meal in the body, we cannot concentrate or focus during the work time also.
So when we were young and all, we used to sit together, have breakfast, and quite an elaborate breakfast we had at the time. But
right,
in the choice now, you don't have the time. So what should these youngsters be taking ideally, which probably can fulfill their nutritious needs?
So either they have to get up a little early, maybe 5-10 minutes early in the day, so that they can prepare their breakfast in the morning hours. Because homemade breakfast is the most important thing right now. Because you cannot have your packaged food, packaged cereals, or something like packaged food. We have to cook our breakfast, maybe homely, fresh cooked food we can have. You can have poha, upma, vegetable poha, upma. You can have, even if you don't have time for 10 minutes to cook your food, at least we can have one glass of milk and one apple with us. But if we are going office right now with very little of breakfast, you can have some snacks with you, like roasted chana, roasted you can say peanuts, and even roasted makhana also with you, so that you can whenever you are hungry, you can go for a healthy snacks only. But try to avoid junk foods during your snacks time.
There is also a tendency to have some of these, shakes where you have this green leafy vegetables ground into, made into a paste, and then you have them as a liquid.
Vegetable smoothie and all that, right?
So that is easy for you to consume, less time. How good are these drinks?
So frankly speaking, I am not towards these smoothies and all those. So according to my my theory, it is always have we can have like fibers in the form of the fiber, whatever the form we are getting from the vegetable shops. If you want to have like cucumber or any greens in your diet, just have it in that form only. Just wash it and have it in the form of that. If you want having the vegetable sandwiches also, so just we can go for the whole wheat breads, and we can use cucumber or tomato in that.
So in the course of this talk that you said earlier, you are against smoothies. Why do you say that?
So maybe you can say, I think I'm more into traditional diet pattern. So that's why, sir.
Okay. Yeah, yes. we have the time and we have the luxury, of course. But I think a traditional breakfast is very, very important.
Yeah, because now, India has more regions, like 4 regions, and every region has their own specific diet. Yeah. So we are blessed to have so many, you can say, diet pattern in our India. So we have n numbers of diet. So we can go for any breakfast, lunch, and dinners also.
Okay. So there's a question from one of our readers. Since I don't have time, would just a boiled egg and a banana or an apple suffice as a good breakfast?
Yes, definitely, sir. If like a boiled egg, definitely it's a protein-rich diet for us. So we can have in the morning boiled egg. We can have fruits also in the breakfast with your meal. But there are certain different, you can say recipes or different diets we can follow. We can have moong dal chilla in your daily routine in your breakfast. You can have idli, dosa. You can have stuffed roti with that you can stuff with even spinach or methi also. And moong dal chilla, even besan chilla with lots of green vegetables. We can go for that. Even wheat porridge, that is the best thing for the breakfast.
What are the macro and micro nutrients that employees should keep in mind while having breakfast?
So there are 2 types of nutrients, as we all know that. Macro basically that gives you energy in the body, like protein, carbohydrates, and fats. So everybody knows that protein is required for your body building, and it's a building block for the body. But protein also helps to give you the satisfaction for the longer time in the daytime. So protein, carbohydrates, fats, they are most important for the energy for us. And we should go for the complex carbohydrates, like you can say whole wheat, whole wheat dalia. We can go for that also. And for the protein, we can go for pulses, legumes, and dals, and boiled egg also. Scrambled egg also, we can have that.
What about those people who work in the graveyard shift? What should they be doing?
What, sir?
What about those people who work in the graveyard shift, that is the night shift entirely they work, and what's the diet pattern that they should follow? Because for them, day is night and night is day.
Yeah, sir. But for those people, they can have their light breakfast in the morning when they're coming back from the offices. They can have light breakfast, like maybe milk and apple. They can have their proper sleep. After that, when they will wake up, they can normal lunch and dinner they can have.
So there's nothing special that they should be doing, except that they should fulfill their nutrient needs.
Yes, sir.
And
water intake is very important during the whole day for these people.
Yeah, water intake. In one of our episodes, we had dealt with this topic of water intake. Ideally, what is the water intake that a person should do? Somebody had said it should be 1 liter for every 20 kg. Is it correct?
So there are many theories behind this, like what is the requirement of water. But as a biological, you can say our body, it will give you signal whenever you require the water. It will give you the signal that we require the water. You feel thirsty. So that time you should consume the water. But generally, as you said, generally 8 to 10 glass of water people generally drink. But whenever you feel thirsty, you should drink the water. Sir.
And what's your view? I know we're all the traditionalist part of it, but what is your view on these so-called energy drinks that are there in the market? Does it really help you out?
So I'm totally against for that.
I know the answer, but please tell me.
Yes, sir.
No, I know the answer that you're probably trying to say, but please tell it out.
Definitely, sir. I'm totally against these energy drinks and everything. When my kids, they are into tennis games, so even their nutritionist also against these drinks, every energy drinks. So because it contains lots of sugar plus preservatives are there. So instead of that, we can have lemon juice, coconut water, and lassi, chach. We can have those drinks in your daily routine, sir.
There's also another controversy whether whole fruit is better or the fruit juice is better. Which one do you prefer?
So definitely whole fruits are better because it contains your fiber in that, and it will not increase your glucose level immediately.
Okay. Yeah. And what about breads? There is a controversy about brown bread and white bread. Which is better? You know, there's a saying. There's somebody who says that no, brown butter is no better.
So there is also contradiction for breads also, because breads if we are on daily basis, if we are consuming like chapati, parantha, that is because you are cooking it yourself, right? But if you are not cooking your chapati, then sometime you can have bread like once in a week. But definitely it's on if you are consuming proper whole wheat bread with the multigrains also. But definitely maida bread is not ideal for your body. So.
Yeah, there was not recently, some time back, there was in fact, a cover story which said in Nature, that said that you should be eating what your grandparents ate.
That is the entire thing we are following right now, sir. Like whatever you cook at home, just have that meal only. Just try to avoid whatever you get in the packaged, in the dabba, you can say, right, from the market. So ideally, our chapati is better than bread, sir.
Okay, but unfortunately, Ms. Pooja, the problem now is that our younger generation is eating what the grandparents in the US were eating, not what our grandparents were eating. That's the problem, the ready-made stuff and other things, and also that we are trying to imitate.
So somehow, we need to understand that point of view also, that if we are taking only junk food or if we're taking only maida products, that if not today, like after maybe 5 years, 10 years, definitely we have to suffer from like maybe obesity, you can say diabetes, heart disease, because all these diseases are mainly related to our you can say our weight also. So sooner or later, we need to understand that what is the requirement of homemade food.
There are certain controversies so far as foods are concerned. Now, one is people say you should not have the yellow of the egg. How far is it true?
So earlier, there are many studies that we should not consume yellow part of the egg. But now it is like many studies now it's coming out like that at least if we are consuming one egg, you can have full egg because that is important fats in the body, unsaturated fats.
And the next controversy is that ghee is good for your health. Ghee is
definitely, sir. Pure ghee is important for us, and definitely we should not go for refined oil. Desi ghee is important, and it is like you can say it is important for your bones also and your heart working.
Now, my basic doubt is what is this pure ghee or desi ghee? Because ghees are available in the market. I don't know whether these are pure and desi, or how do you distinguish between pure ghee and the other type of ghee?
There are, so whenever I will say for pure ghee or desi ghee, almost these are same. Like if you're cooking at home, if you're preparing your ghee at home, you know that is pure ghee. So that is the main thing, sir.
But not the ones in the market?
So we should avoid to buy from the market. If maximum, if we can prepare at home, definitely we should prepare at home, sir.
And what's your take on coconut oil?
Coconut oil for cooking, sir?
Yes.
Yes, we should go for the coconut oil for cooking. Definitely. It's very good oil. And all the refined, we should avoid the refined oil, but we can go for the wood-pressed coconut oil for your cooking, sir.
You mean it's a cold-pressed oil?
Yes, sir. Cold-pressed oil, cold-pressed cooking oil, sir. Yeah. Maybe it may be sunflower, it may be sesame oil. So they are very good for heart working also because they absorbs your vitamins A, vitamin D, all these vitamins.
And there is also a theory from the nutritionists that you should change your oil every month. Is it correct?
So definitely we should change because every oil doesn't contain all the fatty acids. So we should change our oil for the requirement of different fatty acids in the body because certain fatty acids, they are not you cannot find it in your body. We have to take it out from outside, sir.
There is also, I think, an oil that was brought over by the nutrition in NIN in Hyderabad, Indian Institute of Nutrition, which yes. had a mix of oil.
Because these are old practices when everybody thinks that we should consume all the fatty acid. So they started one study. So we should mix all the oils, like maybe sunflower, soybean oil. So they just mix all the oil for 1 month and then they use that oil. But it is after certain studies, it came into mind that it is a very wrong practices. If you are using one type of fatty acid one time, next time you can use another type of fatty acids in your diet for the cooking purpose.
So basically, if I got you right, mixing oil is not a good thing.
No, mixing oil is not a good thing. So.
Changing oil is much better.
Yes. So we can change our oil every month. Like one month you can buy sunflower. Next time we can go for soybean, coconut oil, sesame oil, depending upon the weather and depending upon the region.
Now I'll come back to a recent survey done by IHL that had shown rising levels of obesity, blood pressure, and other ailments among young office goers.
Yes, sir.
What's your advice to them? How, especially after the COVID lockdown, I think there is a spurt in obesity and diabetes. Now, what's your advice to them? What care should they be taking?
So first, the most important thing that we should consume our 3 meals, like the main basic meal, breakfast, lunch, dinner, on the proper timings. And the most important thing, that should be the homemade meals. If you're going offices, we can take our dabbas, we can take our lunch box to the offices. But if there is any issue that we cannot take our lunch, so from the pantry or from the canteen, we can choose healthy food that is loaded with lots of fruits, lots of vegetables, and cereals, whole cereals we can go for. And beside diet, it is important to go for the physical exercise. How much time you will get, either 15 minutes, 20 minutes, or 30 minutes. We should go for the exercise definitely. And try to avoid all the junk food, processed food that we are getting from the market.
And how important or not advisable is fasting?
So fasting is it's not that much advisable right now, but people are doing for the intermittent fasting right now. If you're talking about intermittent fasting, it definitely, not today, but after some time, you can say 6 months, 7 months, it definitely affects your metabolism mainly. Even gastritis is the main reason that affects your health due to the fasting.
No, I didn't get you right. Is intermittent fasting good, or is it?
No, it's not good. According to me, according to different studies, it's not right now. We cannot say it's ideal, and even I don't in the favor of the intermittent fasting.
And no, but would intermittent fasting once in a fortnight help out rather than continuous intermittent fasting?
Yes, not intermittent fasting. Like in the Hinduism, we are going for the fast, like one day, in the 15 days, you are only on fruits or juices like that. Like
Ekadashi concept.
Yes, we can go for that to clean up the body.
So is it fasting or just on liquid diet?
No, it's just a fasting that you are not consuming your cereals, you are not consuming your proteins.
Okay. And should diabetic patients be careful about such things?
Definitely. Diabetic patients should not consider those fasting, because their blood glucose level definitely fluctuates on the daily basis, on the day routine, because they need glucose because they are consuming their medicines because of the insulin issue. So they should not go for the fasting. Definitely, they should not go for the fasting.
Now, I'll ask you one of the controversial questions. Is there specific foods that can fire up one's mood or energy levels, both in the traditional sector? I mean, in the traditional sector.
Yes, sir. So I didn't get this.
Are there some foods that can fire up your mood in the sense that it can give you more energy levels, make you happy? The so-called happy food. Are there such foods there? I am speaking about such foods in the traditional sector.
So I think when you are consuming a good, healthy food on your table with your family, I think that is the happy meal for everyone. But for the people nowadays, they are consuming caffeine, coffee. It will boost their you can say mood for some time, on the working place.
But it's not advisable.
No, not at all. Once in a day they are consuming, it's okay, but not that much. But even protein-rich diet, they definitely boost your mood, for the daily purpose.
Now, how many cups of coffee or tea should ideally an IT professional be taking when he's at work?
I will say, sir, 1 to 2 cups, sir. 2 cups.
In a day or during his
yes.
working?
Yeah, in a day, sir.
In a day?
Yes, sir.
I think many of them would crash on their desk.
So for that, they can have their protein-rich diets. They can have their good snacks in between with them. So that is the best thing they can go for that. Because caffeine, definitely, it's not that ideal for our body.
Okay. Now, Ms. Pooja, there is another controversial question which we had dealt with in one of our earlier episodes. Is that once you have your meal, it is better to take a short power nap. Now, what's your opinion about that?
Definitely. Yeah, sir. It is important, like for 10 minutes, we can have, after dinner, lunch, we can have 10 minutes nap, sir.
That's good for, what benefit does it give?
Yes, sir.
What benefit does it give?
So it will help you to, just when your body is on rest time for 10 minutes, you are relaxed. After that, you can go for your work again, sir.
Okay. Now, there is a great fad that, you complete so many steps in a day, and that is ideal. That is 10,000 steps, 1,000 steps. What is the ideal step count that people should take depending on their age? For example, what should an office goer or the youngster who's working in the IT industry be doing?
So I would suggest definitely there are many studies or there are many research they are going on, like for the steps, how many steps we can go. So to reduce the body weight, to reduce the obesity, but ideally as a person, we should start according to our body levels. Like if you will ask any person that you have to walk like 1 hour, 1.5 hours, but he or she doesn't have that capacity in the starting point of view. But they can start very on the moderate level, very, very slowly, like 15 minutes, 20 minutes. After that, definitely they can go for the 1 hour walking. So definitely it will come to around 8,000 steps or 10,000 steps. But we should go with the pace of our body only.
I'll take you back to some of the old sayings. It is said, have breakfast like a king and have lunch like a commoner, and supper like a poor man or a beggar. Yes, now, how ideal is this?
So if you will ask me, so I will follow this path, because if I'm talking about dinner, so when we start morning, our metabolism is on the higher side. So that's why we are asking for the heavy breakfast, right? So because our metabolism starts that time, and we are digesting our food, and we are working those time for the day. And same for the lunch. Lunch should be in the moderate form. But dinner, why should we consume dinner in a very lower level, means less of calories content? Because our bodies, after 6 or 7, our body decreases the metabolism system. So we should consume less after 7, 8, so that our body can digest very light food.
What's the ideal gap that people should take between a dinner and their sleep?
So it should be around 2 to 3 hours, sir.
That is, you take your dinner, leave 2 hours gap,
and
then go to sleep. And
yes,
how far is a gentle walk important after dinner?
So we should avoid the gentle walk definitely after dinner, because after having dinner, if you're going for a walk, there are two things, like food is in your stomach and you're going for a walk, and then you start your walking also at that time. So we should avoid those things. So maybe after half an hour or 1 hour, you can go for light walk. But after dinner, immediately we should not go for walk, because it affects your digestion system.
I didn't mean actually immediately, because there is a saying, after lunch, rest a while, after supper, walk a while.
Yeah, so I think after dinner, you can 45 minutes or 1 hour, you can give the gap, or you can have light walk, like 10 to 15 minutes, not more than that.
Then there is one major problem, Ms. Pooja, among the young crowd, is that people don't get sleep, either because they are wedded to their television or to their mobile phones or to the computers. Now, are there any of the foods that can actually induce sleep?
So best thing is a warm glass of milk. That is very important for the good sleep, sir.
A warm glass of milk, I was told, with a little bit of turmeric also will help?
Yeah, definitely, sir. If it suits the person, definitely we can have the pinch of turmeric with the milk.
Okay. How far is turmeric important in one's life? Because this is supposed to be an Indian spice.
Yes, sir.
How far is it important? Because we have said turmeric can cure cancer or can avoid cancer, can do a lot of things. So is turmeric a must in our diet and whatever we take?
So as an Indian, there are different spices in India, like we are using on daily basis. It's not like you can say a turmeric latte, or we are taking a turmeric shots, right? It's a part of our daily routine. That's why our immunity level is higher comparatively other countries, because of these spices only. Because even the turmeric, if we are consuming on daily basis, like with our spice, with our vegetables, because we are putting it in vegetable and dals also, so it helps to improve your immunity level also in that.
Earlier you said that people should eat at the right time. Now, my basic question is: do you eat when you feel hungry, or do you eat when at the right time?
No, it's the right time, because our biological clock says that breakfast, lunch, dinner, they are the specific timings for our food. So we should consume accordingly, on the timings of after when you wake up, after 2 hours waking up, you should take your breakfast. And around 11 o'clock, you can have a small, fruit. And around 2 o'clock, we can have lunch. And in the evening snacks, or you can say tea, something if you want to have. And it's best to have your dinner before 8 o'clock.
Probably these are all age-related also. People, as young as me or as old as me, probably may not be able to take as many things that, you have said just now. So as you progress in age, do you also decrease your intake of food?
Definitely, sir. Because when we, with the age, our physical exercise, physical activity also decreases. So definitely our calories requirement also decreases with the age also. Because the way we were working on the younger time, we are not working like after 60s or 65. We are not that much, you can say practically, we are not that active. So definitely we should decrease calories requirement according to our body needs.
Now I come to another segment. An important segment is about kids. Now there are kids also who are, for example, there was a survey which showed that, you have maximum number of obesity among children in Delhi.
Right, sir.
Now, why is that happening? Is it because of junk food alone, or because of change in lifestyle, no exercise, sitting at home, watching TV? Why is it actually happening?
So everything you can say comes under the lifestyle, right? It includes your diet, your exercise, your daily habits, watching TV and playing games all the day. It's important to our family lifestyle should be like that children should follow those things only. Right, so we should go for healthy meal, and every children, I think every younger one, they go for any physical exercise on daily basis. They opt any exercise, they opt any game, like maybe football. They can play badminton on daily basis. So they should go for some classes so that they can burn their calories. And the most important thing, their intake of junk food. So their intake of junk food is increasing day by day because of the taste and because of the easy to eat food. They are not going for the homemade food.
Is there a genetic factor also involved in all this?
Genetic factor for what, sir?
Of kids getting obese parents?
Definitely, sir. There are genetic always play the part, like for any disease or any health condition in the body. But at least we can we can play our part for the diet and exercise, sir. At least we can do that way.
Now, that is why basically you find a lot of women, putting on a lot of weight, especially in areas like Gujarat and other areas where you have, and most of it is based on, the blame is given on hormone imbalance. Now, what should these people be doing in order to get back to physical shape?
So the most important thing that they should definitely they should go for a regular checkup with their gynecologist, regular checkup for the doctors, and maybe endocrinologist also. So according if they have any issue with the hormones, maybe after 40s or 45, they have certain issue with their hormones. So, but besides those, if I'm talking about medication, but beside medication, definitely they can go for regular physical exercise. They can opt yoga classes. That really helps a lot, sir.
What's your view on, young women, young children, pre-marriage age children getting obese, and they go for, surgeries like the liposuction and other things? So what's your view on that?
So I'm totally against for that, sir. So why we are taking too much food, after that we have to go for surgery to reduce the body weight.
So you don't suggest these youngsters to
go?
No,
sir. Definitely, sir. No way.
Because one argument is that they don't get married, they don't get a suitable husband if they don't have a good body.
So we have to stop at a certain point that my weight is increasing, because when we are looking at our mirror, we can see that we are getting fat. So we should reduce our body fat, sir. So we should not reach to that level that we go. We are planning for the surgeries and all that.
Yeah. Which part of India are you from? Are you from Delhi or from Mumbai?
So basically, sir, I'm from Haryana, sir.
Haryana. So can you just tell our viewers what is the basic Haryanvi diet that people take in order to keep? And I'm told that.
So basically, sir, I'm Punjabi, sir. So I can give you the guidance of the Punjabi food, sir.
But I'm afraid of Punjabi food because your lassi is as tall as me.
Yes, sir.
Your lassi is as tall as what I am. So it's you consume a lot of, but you exercise also quite well. So what is an ideal Punjabi food that you take?
So according to we prefer to have only homemade food, sir. So in the breakfast we generally prepare all the region foods, sir. You can say vegetable poha, vegetable upma. We really like those regions food. Even idli, dosa also. And twice or once in a week we have stuffed roti also with lots of vegetables and whole wheat porridge. We are consuming in breakfast. And lunch you can say dal, sabzi, roti, salad. That is the ideal thing. And with you can say mint chach. That is very important for digestion also. And dinner is very light, simple dal chapati, sir.
In Punjab, there is some drink called what is it? Sargon saag. What is it? Some green.
Yes, sir.
In Punjab, there is a drink now. What you got sargon saag or something of that sort. What is that?
I have no idea, sir.
Okay. Now, but in your diet, I didn't see lassi.
So in lunch, I told you, sir, we have mint lassi, sir. Chach.
Oh, mint lassi. Okay. I
mint chach, we are consuming mint chach.
Next time I come to Punjab, I'll definitely come to your place and have all these food. And if you're coming down south, we'll give you some tasty idlis and doshas, and probably that will balance out our diet.
Definitely, sir. But being a North Indian, we are fond of South Indian food, sir.
And being a South Indian, I'm fond of North Indian food.
So then welcome to my place, sir.
That is what India is, that we have such regional diversity that, we are accustomed to a lot of things. Thank you very much for being on our show, Ms. Pooja Malhotra. I think it was wonderful talking to you.
Thank you so much, sir, for having me here, sir. Thank you.
We now move on to session 3 on bringing workplace wellness strategies ahead. We have with us Ms. Nazneen Hussain, a senior dietitian in Mumbai, and runs Freedom, a beginning to healthy you, a lifestyle management center that includes a holistic mind, body, and soul approach in treating lifestyle ailments. Nazneen believes that you are you, and thus every program is personalized. Nazneen, welcome, and glad to have you on our show once again. And it's always wonderful hosting you.
Thank you, Mr. Shankar. It's a pleasure.
Yeah. We also have with us Dr. Bhavna Barmi. And whenever I talk of Dr. Bhavna Barmi, the first thing that comes into my mind is the background that she has, a lovely violet and a happy mood, creating colors that she's having in the background. I think, Dr. Bhavna Barmi is a renowned, yes, now we can see the background, yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, Dr. Bhavna Barmi is a renowned child and clinical psychologist. She has completed her master's degree in clinical psychology from Delhi University. She's a PhD holder in psychology along with MPhil in medical and social psychology and from National Institute of Mental Health and Neurosciences, Bengaluru. Wonderful having both of you on our show. I think it's great hosting you. Both of you are very familiar on our platform. I think beautiful having you again. And now, Ms. Nazneen, my question to you is: you run a lifestyle management center that includes a holistic mind, body, and soul approach in treating lifestyle ailments.
Yes, sir.
Can you elaborate on your approach, especially for the IT segment?
Okay, so that's a very, very relevant question. Typically, when we look at food, we can't think of food as isolation. So we look at this entire holistic approach of ahar, which is the food, achar, which is your routine and your lifestyle, vihar, which is your recreation, and vichar, which is your thinking. And especially in a typical IT setup, All of these are very related, because somewhere my deadlines, my stress actually determines on how I'm actually eating or what are the kind of foods I'm choosing. So it also determines how much time I have for activity. I may want to complete my 10,000 steps, but I'm working really late. And so I'm not able to do that. So each of them are very interlinked. And I think it's very, to give, look at practical solutions, what, employees can, adhere in the given setup and, make these changes is very important. So hence this whole holistic approach helps you to address all these issues.
So what does this holistic approach, does it include yoga? Does it include food? Does it include pep talk? What all does it include?
So it includes definitely dietary management. Okay, so we look at foods which help in better memory and cognition, because they need to concentrate a lot at work. It looks at foods which can help you sleep better. It helps you foods which can reduce stress. But on the other hand, it also deals with things like stress and how you can actually tackle it at work. So simple pranayams or meditation, or even just sitting postures, because you're sitting in a posture for a very long time, that itself can be very painful. And most of the times we know people have spondylitis or shoulder pains or knee pains or lower back pains. And every time they're meeting a deadline, all of these get triggered. So what are some of the foods which are anti-inflammatory, which we can actually take during this time, so that at least the food doesn't become a source of pain?
So now you believe in the principle of you are you, a very personalized treatment. Now, in this context, do you believe in type A and type B personalities? And if you believe in that, what is the food that you prescribe to those people?
Okay, this is a very nice, very, very good question. And I'll just address, yesterday I had a pilot, okay, who's typically a type A personality, very, very successful, very, doing extremely well. But the personality that he is just not allowing him to sleep. So he suffers major insomnia, and that is now getting translated in his irritational behavior. Now, when you look at his food habits, his consumption of sugar is extremely high. He's a foodie and he loves sweet. He can finish like half a dabbar of mithai just at one go. Okay. And also that whilst he is exercising, he's quite a fitness enthusiast, but he's also a foodie. So somewhere, and he's a big time coffee drinker. So you need to identify what are those things in that particular person. So my first thing I had to do was to help him reduce sugar, which would help reduce hyperactivity, and also reduce the caffeine, because he would have late night caffeine shots, which actually interfered with his entire sleep pattern. Or there are many people in the corporate sector who drink up late because, you work the whole night and you're drinking alcohol, and then that again starts interfering with sleep patterns. And then you have a long day at work. So all of these should be avoided. So personalizing it to what a particular person needs is a very important part of the whole treatment.
Fine. I'll come back to you. Now I'll go to Dr. Bhavna. You're a renowned child and clinical psychologist. Now my question to you is, did personal relationships between work from home parents and children who had nothing to do during the lockdown get affected? And if so, how?
Thank you, first of all, for inviting me here, Mr. Shankar. It's always lovely interacting with you and interacting with the audience. And I think a home has become exceptionally special, especially during the COVID, because the home is just not a home anymore. The home was a home, the home was the office, the home was the school, the home was the playground, the home was the entertainment ground, the home was also sometimes the hospital in many cases. So yes, there has been a lot of enmeshment of the role of a home. And secondly, the role of the visibility of people in the home. Earlier, especially when you were talking about the IT sector and about our type A executives, most of the times there would be a 12-hour gap between the parents and the children interacting with each other. And now, the fortunate part was that everybody was on the same physical space. Yet, wanting to respect the independent spaces, which were sometimes getting clashed. And that is where the dynamics of interpersonal relationships really got misconstrued. because the mind space had never been accustomed to the fact that all of us would be giving so many roles to the home, and we would be a part of each and every role within the premises of the house. So it was causing an enmeshment to the kind that also it led into discord, because the involvement of each other as family members started being seen as interference. So the best was for each family to identify which part of the home had which role to take, and then respect the privacy of that part. So for instance, I'm sitting in my house right now, doing this excellent webinar with everybody here. But now this office space, this lounge space for me is now my office space. So can I have a small board which says that this is my office space? Can I have a verbal interaction with my family and say that this is my office space for now? And thereby create a congeniality for respecting the space and respecting each person's need for that space within the realms of the same house. So I think an open channel of communication, when it was followed within the homes, it led to lesser interpersonal conflict than when it was all ambiguous and it was seen as interference and disrespect to each other's roles and the role of the house itself. So it did have a lot of impact on the psyche of the family dynamics at large. Also, there was a lot of, stress that got caused, because a lot of people saw this as a constriction, and especially when they were younger children. All the energies needed to be dissipated in one space. So a lot of claustrophobia, a lot of anxiety, a lot of panic, a lot of sadness, a lot of depressive thought processes started coming along with this. So this became almost like an epidemic.
There were also reports of increase in domestic violence, children getting upset, children getting violent, upset, having strange behaviors. Is it true? Did it happen during the lockdown? And how far has it eased now that they're going to school and they're going to offices?
See, like I said, if the communication channel was open even during the lockdown, where everybody was within the same space, it could have been a space of enjoyment.
Correct.
It could have been a space of involvement. It could have been a space of pleasure. But when we did not respect the space and the individuality of roles that each of us had, is when it became interference, is when it became abusive. Physically abusive also, because there was a lot of frustration. Emotionally abusive also, because there was, impingement of each other's respectful place. And children especially went through a lot of stress during that time. So physically, a lot of children, I think what Nazneen was also saying was that there was a lot of sleep disturbance and appetite disturbance. I think the first two things that really went haywire was their sleep, and they went into aspects of insomnia. The whole day-wake cycle, the sleep-wake cycle was completely overturned. People would switch on their videos even for school, keep their audios on, videos off, and probably were resting or getting back into gaming or doing whatever they were. Yeah. So it was a very warped cycle of the sleep-wake cycle, and appetite was completely disturbed. There was no fixed routines of eating. Also, the type of foods had changed. Because if you look at children these days, and even if you look at working parents these days, there's a lot of catering in that happened. So when all that needed to be done at home, the food habits changed. Fortunately, they could have changed for the better. But in a lot of families, it was seen that junk food, which is packaged food, was becoming more and more prominent. Till when these cloud kitchens and people started cooking from the home, serving the people at home, things like that started developing. But I think these two things had a major impact on especially children. And then the emotions would come out like anger, like irritability, like short temper, displacement of anger. And so would it be for the parents. The most lovable people became people on whom they would put all their anguish, which was their children, because they were the easiest targets to show their stress. So there was a lot of verbal and physical abuse that children went through because of the displacement of stress that the working parents especially went through, because their resources had depleted. The work was still the same, Shankar, but the resources that they had, the babysitter, the maid, the cook, the cleaner, the driver, all these resources had come down. And so there was but I think multi-pressure that the parents went through.
I think, as you rightly put, this was actually an opportunity too, because you could have built up good communication with your people in the same space, which we didn't have earlier. But this didn't happen. Now, my next question is, after 2 years of work from home and lockdown, people have started going to offices. Do you see any change in atmosphere, as there are stray reports that some of them have anxiety issues, depression, difficulty to socialize, etc.?
Yes, Shankar, that was another drop in this vast ocean. That even now that we are calling this as a normalization of life in the post-COVID era, what had happened is that we all became very comfortable within the realms of the house. And movement, I mean, I can wear this dupatta that I'm wearing under my night dress for all that anybody knows. I could have pajamas under my dupatta, right? So everybody's convenience became paramount, which is now getting impacted. So now the fact that the routine again needs to start, the traffic on the road again needs to be dealt with, a clock in where you punch in and you punch out in your office scenario. You need to deal with people after 2.5 years of almost social distancing. And for some, it was almost social isolation. People were so anxious of the COVID that they thought that, Shankar and Nazneen would catch COVID if the doctor was speaking to them even on the screen. That was just a joke. But the lifestyle had become very, very segregated. So the distance was almost like an isolation. And now when they need to go back into that scenario, there is a lot of difficulty. There is a lot of difficulty because they need to go back and restore those interpersonal relationships. They need to restore the work-life balance. They need to restore the stresses that come with that.
You need to rebuild all the bridges that were broken in those 2 years. And I'll now come to Nazneen again once more, is that you said there are foods that can increase memory, sleep, and also de-stress. Can you tell me some of these foods that can actually help out in this case?
Okay, so that's very interesting. And, especially when you look at foods which can help you with memory, these could be, all your omega-3 based foods. So if you're a fish eater, you could eat fish. Dark chocolate, and there's a lot of research on dark chocolate, and it can actually help. Even your darker colored berries, your nuts like walnuts, almonds, even seeds, flax seeds, pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, all these are fabulous foods. Something like even one muthi bhar ke peanuts, jo mungfali hai, groundnuts hai, even that can really help. And overall, a high fiber diet, like a whole grain, like oats, or even traditional cereals like barley or millets like bajra, jawar, all of these actually help in brain boosting. And as far as sleep is concerned, again, the foods, and I heard this in the previous session also, so definitely a cup of milk with some turmeric and a pinch of black pepper definitely is a great food. Nuts like walnuts and the darker colored berries, even. So it could be blackberries or blueberries, but even in an Indian setup, the darker colored boars which are there, these also help a lot because the amount of melatonin is very high. So that could be included. And overall, just including something like as simple as a chamomile tea can also help in better sleep. So chamomile tea and melatonin were some of the prescriptions which went very high, especially during COVID, because people had sleepless nights. So these are some simple foods, but very, very effective.
Yeah, I'd asked this question in the previous speaker also regarding, what's your opinion on these smoothies and other things that people take before breakfast when they don't have time?
I think, we have to be realistic, and I live with a whole lot of friends who are in the IT sector, who are working women. And sometimes when you look at a smoothie, which is oats and fruits and yogurt or milk, whichever is okay, all in one go, and it satiates you for a longer period of time, I think it's a great food, because it may be much nicer to, pick up a packet of junk on the way. Rather, if you're eating a smoothie, at least you're sorted for the next 4 hours. So yes, it's quick nutrition. It is easy delivery, fast to make. You set it in the night and leave it in your jar. All that you do in the morning is pick up your jar and leave. It's great. Having said that, you should allocate time for food. But if that is not possible, then please eat this.
I'll come back to Dr. Bhavna. Dr. Bhavna, the WHO has described wellness as both physical and mental. How do you describe mental wellness?
I would say WHO has added another term for wellness, spiritual. So they now say that wellness is physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. So I would say in the mental paradigm, emotional stability and spiritual strength, if it gets added on, then mental wellness gets automatically a part of us. And one important component of mental wellness is to be optimistic, to be hopeful, to feel worthful. So that means I need to respect myself and my identity. And I need to understand that I am an entity which has weaknesses, which of course I can keep working upon, but that does not make me. I also have strengths. And the more I focus on my strengths, the more mentally stronger I start becoming. Nazneen is doing such a fantastic job with nutrition guidance. So I need to know that nutrition is my weakness and is Nazneen ma'am's strength. And I owe my, owe my knowledge to get it from her. And that should be okay with me. I should not feel lesser because I am not adequately equipped to have knowledge about nutrition, for example, since we're talking about this very important concept here. So one of the things for mental wellness is love yourself. Believe in yourself, identify your strengths, keep enhancing your strengths, and yes, manage your weaknesses alongside. Second thing is there are 5 fingers in our hand and none of them are similar. So do not be on a comparative. You can take motivation, you can have ideals in your life, but do not emulate and make yourself feel low. Thirdly, see the light at the end of the tunnel. Yes, there are challenges, there are adversities. So the moment you move out of the problem zone and spend more time in the solution zone, because if you keep spending more and more time in the problem zone, the problem will become bigger. So the moment you have a problem, identify the problem, acknowledge the problem, move with your mental wellness from the problem into the solution. The more time and energy you spend in the solution, more alternatives you would get. Sometimes you yourself can give maximum number of solutions to yourself because you've moved out of the problem zone into the solution. Sometimes you can also seek guidance. There are well-meaning people around you at work, well-meaning people around you at home, well-meaning professionals around you, like how all of us are talking. It is okay for you not to be okay, but it's not okay for you to stay not okay. Move out of the not okay into the okay realm, take the support, build yourself up, and reach that light that you see at the end of the tunnel. And you must see that light because your light will be very different from how Shankar's light is or Nazneen's light is or my light is. So create that light with we talk about in the corporate world, the SMART goals. So have your goals for the present and for the future. You'll be very, very optimistic.
Now, a major factor, of course, you dealt with it partly. Depression is a major factor, but how far is counseling important? Because basically these people don't go for counseling. So how far is, in your practice, how far is counseling important to get these people out of this particular, situation of depression?
Shankar, if there was a number more than 100, I would say that much important. And I want to put a full stop there because it is that much important, especially in depression. Because you do the motivation inside of you. बहुत आसान होता है हमको कहना, it's very easy to say that, don't be sad. Just move out of it. See the brighter sides of life, but that doesn't happen. So especially for depression, in counseling, we have something called CBT, Cognitive Behavior Therapy. So behavior or emotions is what needs to change by the change of the thought process. See, depression, I would like everybody to understand, is an emotional disorder. And thereby, when your emotions are weak, when your emotions are low, when you're exceptionally sensitive, that is when you need to use the strength of your mind. The cognitions will bring about a change in your behavior. The behavior will add to serotonins and endorphins in your system, and thereby the depression will get combated. And it is difficult to do this on your own because there is a depletion of neurotransmitters. And like I said, counseling, therapy, life coaching is a mandate, especially if we are going through depression per se. It's tough. It's very tough to manage it on your own.
Yes, it's very,
very quickly spirals, Shankar. It's so sad because depression spirals. We start getting ideas of helplessness, hopelessness, worthlessness, and then it enters into the suicidal thoughts. And that is terrible. That's terrible for self-harm. It's terrible for the family from home or at work who loves you so much. So I don't think any of us need to go through that. There is support available. There are so many free helplines. There are so many public and private places where we can go. And now, especially in the corporate world, they have something which is called as the EAP, the Employee Assistance Program, which is doing very, very well to offer support, not only to the employees, but also extend that support to their family members, the near and dear ones who are going through it. So I think we should just seek it and help ourselves, help our families, help people who we also see or can identify are going through depression or any mental health concern, and encourage them to seek help.
Well, I'll come back to you, Dr. Bhavana. I'll come to Ms. Nazneen. Ms. Nazneen, a question that I have, Dr. Bhavana also spoke about how people should come out in the open. Now, would, having groups who have similar problems, for example, obesity, creating a group and how they discuss among themselves about how reducing obesity, will that probably motivate people to go forward?
Yes, absolutely. I think it's a wonderful part, and I think Dr. Bhavana very nicely spoke that we need to make the problem part smaller and make the solution part a little bigger. And just yesterday, one of the very big corporates, they had their sales team and they've launched this whole thing, The Biggest Loser. And I had a session with them. So they all were wanting to lose weight. And I think having a support system is very good. So whilst they put it as a challenge, and that's what I was explaining to them, that it's less of a challenge, but it's more of a support, that now when they are coming to work, each of them are now trying to bring in some healthy food. Or when they are out on the sales trips, they are trying to choose some healthy alternatives, and they were trying to ask me, what can we choose if we are in an Indian restaurant or a Chinese restaurant or in, continental restaurant. So they are exploring healthier choices together. And I think that whole group support is a huge thing. Even they've also taken a challenge that, okay, at lunch break, we shall all walk for, 30 minutes. So we'll try and accomplish our 10,000 steps at least. So I think together the difference is much nicer. And like depression, you don't feel you're alone. You have a group system, and obesity and somewhere depression is very interlinked. People have this major challenge with the way they look, their self-image, and so if you have a group, it definitely helps. It helps in better dietary adherence, it helps in better exercise adherence, and overall feeling much better.
Yeah, I think the group therapy is very, very important, and people get motivated also because of that.
Yes.
Dr. Bhavana, I'll come back to you on another important point is that, and you also, Nazneen, is that, increasingly there are suggestions that in the corporate sector, you should have a trained professional, like a psychologist or a trained nutritionist who can take care. Especially a psychologist, because people have a lot of stress, especially women, and they can't get it out because it's very difficult. So do you suggest that in corporate sector you have a regular dedicated counselor who can deal with such problems, especially for women?
Shankar, the number again is 100, 100%.
Yeah.
I think if nothing else, we need to take back this number with us. And as corporate heads, I think it is extremely important, was important during COVID, and important to sustain the support post-COVID of having somebody who can mentor, who can guide, who can be a support, who can be a counselor, who can be a therapist. And Shankar, just one thing that I want to add on is that not only for women, I think women in times of today in the corporate world are still expressing. I think men also need this support, where men and women equally are able to come out with their concerns, with their problems, with their challenges. And like we said earlier, move out of that into seeking guidance for their solutions. And I think a therapist or a counselor being completely non-judgmental, non-biased, and keeping everything confidential really helps with the corporate sector. And I think it should be a mandate to have at least, if not, at least one available resource as a counselor.
Your take, Nasreen?
I completely echo that 100% because, as definitely mental health, like Dr. Bhavna said, but even nutrition. Because, the very fact that when I wake up in the morning and I am tired and I wish my alarm never rang or rang after 1 hour means I'm not nutritionally adequate. And these are high-level employees doing, multitask, important tasks. And if their iron levels are low or their energy levels are low or their body is not fit enough or you are running micronutrient deficiencies, you're not performing 100%. So somewhere the nutrition is a very important part to make you feel 100%. So definitely have a consultant nutritionist. If you have a canteen, then get the canteen menus well planned by a nutritionist. It's a continuous process. You need to work with the caterer, you need to work with the employees. And so complete that entire circle. Make sure that at workplace also more healthier choices are available. I'll give you this interesting example of the Google. And Google has this whole health cafe actually, where you can pick up your salads, your soups, your juices. You could, you have chefs who prepare healthier foods. Of course, they have a whole beer bar as well. But at least there is a choice. So there is both, available.
We are running seriously short of time. But before I sign off, I want in 1 minute from both of you. I'll come to you, Dr. Bhavna, because you have a background of happiness. The happiness moment that you had when you rescued somebody from depression and what happened. And you, Nasreen, the happiness moment of somebody who would really get out of a nutrition problem. Starting with you, Dr. Bhavna, briefly.
I think happiness redefined is being with what is happening. And when I could bring people, especially who are going through depression, back into what is positively happening in their lives, and they could lead their life and move out of the thought process of not wanting to live anymore. It was one of the happiest moments that happened in my life.
Great. And what about you, Nasreen?
Very similar. Young IT professionals struggling with infertility now have lost weight. The girl has overcome her PCOS and now finally pregnant with twins. I think that's like it says it all, that all the treatment that you've done and all the diet work that you've followed up intensively. Fabulous moment when you see all of them, achieving their goals.
Wonderful. I think we'll stop at this positive note of happiness. There is nothing greater than happiness in this world. And if I had a number more than 100, I would give it to you, Dr. Bhavna, Dr. Nasreen. I think the happiness quotient is very, very important in these times, whether it is for physical, mental, spiritual, whatever diet. I think happiness is the underlying factor that is common among all this. Thank you very much for being on our show. It was wonderful hosting you, and see you all during the next fortnight. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Shankar. Thanks, Dr. Bhavna. Bye-bye.
Lovely being with you both.
Thank you very much. Thank you.